please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to tonight's Irondequoit Planning Board meeting. Please be aware of the fire exits are to the left of this room. In the event of an emergency, please move in a calm and orderly fashion down the stairs, and please don't take the elevator. The meetings are recorded by the secretary for the purpose of a record and minutes, so please identify yourself each and every time you come to the podium and speak into the microphone. The board will follow the items in the order that they appear on the agenda. There's extra copies near the door. After the case has been called, the applicant and/or representative shall come to the podium, identify themselves, give their address, and present their case. Planning board members will then have an opportunity to question the applicant. If the case is a public hearing, it will be open for public input, at which time anyone wishing to speak to the board regarding the application will come to the podium, identify themselves along with their address, and direct any questions to the board and only to the board. Once all public input has been completed, the applicant or site representative will be given an opportunity to respond to any public input. Once all public input has been completed and all questions have been satisfied, the case will be closed to public input and the board will then move on to a decision. No further input is allowed after that point. With that, will you please call the first case?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Case number PB 1904-1. Upon the matter of request by Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated, acting as agent for Providence Housing Development Corporation for revised site plan approval to amend the previously approved landscaping plans to include additional screening and installation of a gazebo/seating area on premises 4225 and 4250 Culver Road in an R5 residential district.
Hi folks, my name is Tom Palumbo from Stantec Consulting. Our address is 61 Commercial Street in the city. As was stated on the case, we're looking to expand on the planting plan. We had some air conditioner condensing units that got placed along the roadway. So we really want to put together a screening plan. The plan includes needs to address both the winter condition as well as the summer conditions. So it's a mixture of using both a screen panel, short, 3 foot high normally, with planting in front of it. Plantings are a mixture of evergreen, smaller evergreen bushes, ornamental grasses, and then flowering perennials. So they'll go pretty much along, all along Culver Road, and then along the south side of the 4250 building, and then the same thing along the 4225 building, along the south side of that, or Dewberry.
Might need to use the microphone so we can hear you while you're turning.
And along the south side where Dewberry is.
He's got it right here for you.
Tom,
Right there.
Oh, this one.
that one? Maybe. Like karaoke.
There you go. So here's a little section of what it's going to look like. The unit's kind of behind the screen panel with the plantings in front of it. The panel is a semi-private, so it's got an opening. Between them, we're looking at using this clay color, so it kind of blends into the building, blends into the background. Also indicated is we're looking to do a little seating area right off the sidewalk up towards the north end of the project. And that's going to be just a small place for a granite bench that came from the old church, as well as the cornerstone from the old St. Salome Church.
Can we stop you for a second? I don't believe that we all have the same drawing that you're referring to, do we?
This is just a colored version of that drawing
Okay.
that you have in the big
The
site
big
plan.
drawing, okay.
Yeah, the one from. There's no changes to that.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You want me to turn the angle on that a little bit, or you okay? Okay. So the seating area is up over here on the north end of the building. Like I said, it's like a 8 by 10 area, just a small patio off the sidewalk, so if folks are walking up to the north to the bus stop, if they want to stop, they can sit and kind of hang out up in that area. We're also looking at a gazebo, 10-foot gazebo on the south side of that building in this green space, just really to provide some extra place for the residents to enjoy the outside. That'll be a vinyl gazebo with a small sidewalk that comes up to it, and serve that area. Now, we did have a workshop meeting, and we had some comments. So from that, we wanted to just confirm some of the things that we heard and some changes that we officially want to make to the application. And that was, there's a unit up in this corner of the community center that's a little bit taller. So we were going to use a taller panel for that. We use a 4-foot panel for that one. And then there's these bollards that are out in front of the transformers. So those we're gonna change them to gray, gonna take the yellow covers off of them, and we're gonna cut them down to 4 feet, like they should be. We're gonna do that on both sides. The plan said, just pointed to the 4225 side. We're gonna take care of both sides, so we've added that from that letter. We replaced we had some crab apples called out along the south side of this building here, and we replaced those with inkberry trees, still ornamental trees, but just not crab apples. And then we also provided you with a cut sheet of basically what the gazebo is going to look like. That was attached to your letter. Pretty much a standard gazebo that we can bring on. One other item that came up was there was a condition from the prior approval for putting a cover over a doorway from the mechanical room. And we had went back and we researched it, and it's obvious we missed it. Did not get approved. That's located, or didn't get added to the building permit plans. That's located in this little corner over here, if you can see that. So we did some photo simulations of what it looks like with the new screening in there. This is looking at the 4250 building, the east side. From the north looking south.
We can't see that.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have
I
to.
can't see it. I just wanted he's trying to get them to see it too.
It's in the packet.
The photo sims, I believe, are the same ones that are in your packet,
Yeah, these
correct?
are just bigger so that if folks see it, they can see it. And that doorway, in consideration, is around this corner, up tight against that alcove. So this is a new screening with the plantings in front of it.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Tom, you just need to direct your comments to the board.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Let me just flip this. This is looking at 4250 looking north.
Is that photo location B on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to just rotate so they can see it too. Looking from this area, looking north up into that area. And then this is the 4225 side, from the north looking south, this way towards, down towards Dewberry. It's along that way. And this is the other way, and then that shows the bollards that we're gonna change the color on, and we're gonna cut down lower, to try to get them to be a little less, in your face, so to speak, along that edge. So our thought is, we understood the desire to have that cover over that one door is really to try to establish a better streetscape, a stronger streetscape, a relationship between the street and the building. And, you know, I guess we feel that with all this additional work and plantings along this area, that we're doing that, probably to a greater extent than what a cover over the door would have done. The door, if you look on the plan, is really, it's attached to that second letter, is really tucked into a corner of the notch of the building, so it wouldn't be real super evident. So, I mean, we want to, you know, bring that as a request for relief for that condition one from the original approval, as part of this revised site plan. You know, as we stated, we're really far along with the project. We're just about all complete. Probably got a little bit more final grading to do and seeding. The planting, the foundation plants aren't done around the building yet. So we would be doing this, you know, with your approval and getting all the final conditions squared away. We'd probably be going into this work fairly quickly in the spring, so we could wrap everything up. So I guess with that, I'll open it up for comments from the board, comments from the public.
Want to do questions now or open up for public input then? Is there any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
And I apologize if this was
Oh, no problem.
if this was addressed at workshop, as I was not in attendance. I see on the 4225 side that you have a new project sign
Yes,
denoted. Have we seen that sign?
you have.
Okay.
Yep.
So it is not. It's not new.
It's not, no, it's the new meaning new for the building.
Okay.
There's another one on 4250 as well.
Okay.
It's located, we moved it over to where the seating area is gonna be, so it kind of relates to the seating area. It's right up,
Oh yeah.
right
Okay.
behind the seating area there.
Yep. All right. That was it.
Anybody else have a question?
I have a question. On some of these renderings, I see a lot of these PVC pipes sticking up out of the ground. Some of them are covered and some aren't. Are you gonna be putting coverage in front of all of them, or just the ones that these renderings are showing? There's one like on the corner of Dewberry Drive and Culver Road that's basically right in the center of the grass, which you don't have a rendering of.
Those there?
No, it's on the corner of Dewberry Drive and Culver, which I'm not seeing in any of these shots.
I think if you look at A, and you go about halfway down to the center beyond,
Oh, yes.
south of the fire hydrant,
Yeah, that's a clean out that'll need to come down to grade. This white,
yeah,
that white post right there? Yeah.
Jackie, that's,
Yeah, this
clean
area,
out.
those will be cut flush with the ground.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with the aqua-colored pipe in photo B.
I would say yes. There's, the only place where you might see some of the pipe is where the downspouts tie into the downspout
Sure.
piece. I mean, the rest of that, everything else should come down.
Yeah, there's-
Yeah, that's an existing one.
Clean out,
That'll
okay.
come down.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I had.
Anybody else have a question?
I have comments, but I can wait till after public input.
Okay, with that, I'd like to open it for public input. So if you could take a seat.
just reminds them, thank you. Remind them to come up to the thing and state their address.
Yes. With that, I'd like to open it for public input. Anybody who would like to address the board, please come to the podium. State your name and address.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Julie Brothers, and I live at 4250 Culver Road, apartment 206. We're just concerned about exactly where the gazebo's gonna go. Am I supposed to be addressing to you? Or?
Go to
Oh,
us,
okay.
yeah, to us.
And we just for, because of people that live on the first level, and they just want to have an idea how far the gazebo is going to be from their apartment windows. I think that's it for now.
Did you have concerns that you wanted it closer, farther?
Well, I just have, my neighbors live on the first level, and they just want to know so that, they can be prepared for how far away that gazebo is going to be. At the current time, until we see, there won't be any concerns about how far or close.
Okay, we'll ask him to
Makes-
make sure he addresses it after
Okay.
all the other public input.
All right.
Is there anything else that anybody, please come to state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Janice Snow. I live at 205 Mallard Drive. And I apologize if there was a workshop. I, too, did not attend because I was not aware of it. When I first saw my concern are those air conditioners and the transformer that's right on Culver Road. When I first saw them, I called the town and I spoke to Carrie. I don't know if she's here. And she specifically said she would call me and notify me when.
I do apologize for not calling if, when this came for, I knew you'd get a postcard, you were close enough.
I did not get a postcard. I had no information that it was.
I do apologize. I thought you were close enough that you'd get a postcard.
Nope. So therefore, this is my first time that I'm speaking, and I did not attend the workshop. And I'm
Thank you for
probably
coming,
bringing, my concerns probably should have been brought up in a workshop.
No, no.
You're fine. No, this is
you're
the
okay.
public input. This is the
Okay.
perfect place for it. Yep.
So I thought when I spoke with Carrie, she said, and I asked, I can't believe you guys let air conditioners go in the front of the houses. I couldn't believe you let houses go that close to the road. B, I couldn't believe that you let air conditioners go that close to the road. And I thought that the comment was, there were no plans in the original, there was no air conditioners in the original plans. That kind of showed up afterwards. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But if it is, I think that we should be asking them to put them on top of the roof, or we should be asking them to put them behind the house. Because I gotta believe that if I put my air conditioner within 10 feet of the front of my house, you'd come see me. So I'm unclear as to why it's allowed there and why it's allowed to continue. So those are a couple of thoughts that I had that were and I'm no engineer, and I don't even work in the building business, but I do drive by there and it's pretty ugly. And I'm concerned that when, I know that Mr. Palermo had talked about putting screens and trees in front of there. And is it Dewberry, that's on the corner of Dewberry and Culver on the west side, southwest side, pulling out of that road? First of all, you got that transformer that's right there that may or may not be okay. I pulled out of there and I had to pull real close into the road. Don't know what's gonna happen when there's snowplow stuff there, But, so the transformer, I could see around big ugly yellow poles in front of it. And I'm concerned that somebody might hit that thing coming down the road some night from one of the bars. So that's kind of in a funny place out in the middle of the road, as are the air conditioners on both sides of the street, actually. But once he talked about putting screens in front of there, are the screens in front of those air conditioners then gonna make it harder to see what's coming down the road? I know I pull out by the Reunion and that little placard that they had there, it's closed now, but they always had a placard, and I had to pull almost out into traffic to get by that little placard that was temporary. I could have gone over and knocked it down. This stuff is permanent. So, that's my concern about the air conditioners. And again, I had this concern about safety of cars driving into that and cars being able to pull out where the transformer is. And again, I don't know if there's anything that we can do about it at this point in time, but I think that we should hold the developer, whoever is making money off of this thing, to fix it, because if not, the town's who's gonna get sued probably. Who's gonna get sued if somebody gets in an accident pulling out of there? So I think that you guys should take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to address the board? Anybody who'd like to come back and address the board, please feel free.
Sorry I'm late, but I'm gonna,
Please don't forget your name and address, please.
okay, Carol Panapinto, 135 Birchwood Drive. I just wanna agree with what she was saying, it's, pulling out from Dewberry onto Culver Road, those yellow poles are, you know, they obstruct my view. I guess I didn't hear the beginning of the meeting, but putting up screens and anything else is gonna obstruct the view is gonna be, you know, a real safety concern. And I don't feel safe pulling out right now as it is. It's better than when the construction was going on and they had that green fencing, because you really couldn't see around that at all. That's my concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else who would like to address the board? Please state your name again. I'm
Sorry, Jana Snow, 205 Mallard. Sorry, didn't have my glasses on and I missed the other thing that I had in there that said the aesthetics of it, of those, of the transformer, of the air and the air conditioners. It kind of, the houses look nice. That stuff looks ugly.
Sorry, I'm back again.
That's okay. Please state your name again.
Julie
when you're ready.
Brothers, do you need my address again?
Yes, please.
4250 Culver, apartment 206. I understand people's concerns about some of these issues, but we're the ones that have to live there. So, one of the things, you know, not only pulling out of there, it's just those poles are not the only thing obstructing. Pulling out of Dewberry, I've been pulling out of that street for the last 12 years. And there's an auto clinic that, there's big vehicles parked in front of that. And I'm gonna tell you, I have to pull out in the middle of the road to even make a right so that I can see what's coming from the north as well as the south. Actually, I should say to make a left. And it's difficult to make a right even because there's a little bit of a crest. I think one of the things that, you know, being that we have almost, you know, a whole community living there now because there's so many of us, we're all seniors, and you take your life in your hands crossing that street. And we pull out of Wacona. Is everyone familiar where that street is? And to make a left turn out of onto Culver from Wacona, somebody's going to get killed there because one of our residents is often out there because he smokes off the property and he's seen a lot of close calls. I don't know if I'm addressing appropriate things here because I know, I guess, but anyway, you know, there should be another sidewalk at Wacona and Culver, like a crosswalk possibly, because it's difficult to cross that street. You know, we've got summertime with all the crazy people that drive down to Seabreeze. You should hear it at nighttime. I rarely see police there, rarely. I'm home a lot. It's just we seem to be an area that's sort of forgotten. And then, you know, we're also dealing with a bar there. I'm not sure. I hope what I'm bringing up is appropriate to bring up.
It's fine. It's public input, so we'd like you to try to address the things that we're talking about tonight, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, but,
That's okay.
you know, we have our concerns about things too, so I understand the public concern, but I think, you know, the air conditioner part, I think, you know, will be addressed properly. I just think people have to be patient. And I think some people, you know, expect it to be done more quickly than they're capable of doing it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be quiet now.
No, you can keep talking. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board? Going once, going twice. With that, I'd like to invite you back up to address some of the concerns that were brought up.
Tom Palumbo from Stantec Consulting, 61 Commercial. So I'll try to go through them all and catch up to it. As far as the gazebo goes, we're over 20 feet from the building. So, you know, the idea is we want that to be good for the residents too. I mean, we don't want to push it tight to the building or anything like that. We have room, as you can see on the plan, if it wants to move closer to the sidewalk from the existing sidewalk, we can move that a little bit further away if need be. We tried to keep it a fair distance so that it was kind of like in that green spot, but we could definitely center it in that green area if that is a consideration that the board would like to see. The location of the air conditioner condensers is something that wasn't recognized at the time of the original planning board approval. We did not have that designed at that point. They can't go on the roof because the roof is sloped. They can't go on the backside because we do have them on the backside as well. So we are trying to make a solution that's not just a tack on, something that kind of will kind of work in with the architecture of the building, will be an attractive addition to the building as well. We spent quite a bit of time just trying to come up with what kind of fence panel can we use, where can we get it, appropriate colors, appropriate plantings, because it does need, as I said, it needs to work both in the wintertime and also in the summertime. As far as the transformer location goes, that really is something that was set by RG&E. We will not exacerbate that situation. We do have some plantings proposed right near the transformer, but they're not going to go any further or closer to the street than what's there right now. But we did want to get something that would help, at least help, buffer that piece of equipment a little bit. As we said, we are treating that south side or the Dewberry side just like we are the rest of the area. And this plantings, they're primarily along the straight part of the road, so they should not impede on any of the site distances coming out of the roads. And I think that's about it. I think that's really
So
it.
you said they should not. I mean, did you take all of that into
Well,
consideration?
yeah, we did. We made sure that when we set the plants, they're from the front of the transformer back, so that they're not going closer to the roadway.
There's nothing listed on the plan that we are seeing that indicates that there is planting beyond those bollards.
That's correct.
I do have one question. There is no lighting going to be in the gazebo, so you're not encouraging usage at night, correct?
That's correct.
So
That's correct.
before we get into the more questions, I do want to close the public hearing at this point. Thank you. Now we can ask questions. Thank you.
The screening, the vinyl screening around these air conditioning units is at its tallest 3 feet high, right? So that should mean, right, that it would be below the level of the window on most vehicles. So
Yeah, you should be looking.
you should be looking over it.
Just for the record, we do have one or two locations where it is 48 inches high.
That's correct. And let me show you where that is. One is along this side because the ground is sloping.
Yep.
So it needs a little taller panels to cover it. And the other one is right in this little corner, this little nook of the community space building because it's a taller unit. But those are both along straight sections of the road.
Yep, just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question for staff. Has the county looked at the view line on Dewberry since the installation of the transformer?
Has the county reviewed it or looked at the site distance? I couldn't speak to that. I know that we just got the county results or response for this application, and they had no comments. So, in reviewing the landscape plan, their comment was, Planning and Development had no comments to share. They attached Monroe County DOT, and Monroe County DOT's comments were their typical, their standard template comments related to monumentation, no construction without a permit, but nothing specific to the plans as presented. So they didn't call out any concerns or issues. I think with respect to the transformer, that location is selected by RG&E.
Yeah, that part I understand.
And then I think with the bollards being cut, and repainted, hopefully will minimize their impact on the site distance or any interruptions there. They didn't provide comment on that, and I don't know if they would have
I
had.
don't know that they reviewed it either.
It's
They were asked about landscaping. They weren't asked about the distant viewing line.
right. Well, at the time the transformer is installed, I don't know if they have to consult. Maybe the applicant would know whether or not RG&E has to go to Monroe County DOT or Monroe County and DOT as part of their process, or if it's because of a utility, whether that trumps the DOT as long as it's.
Can
Well,
we,
we've done all the sidewalk work that we added. So we added that sidewalk all along Culver Road in there. And DOT's been out there specifically for that and all the road crossings we've done. So they've been out there, they've seen the condition, and they're giving us their final approval so that we can close out the bonds.
Okay.
based on some of the public comment that we heard, can we ask staff to just make a conversation with Monroe County DOT and ask them to review that intersection and review pedestrian crossings in this area,
Absolutely.
please? Thank you.
Yes.
So can we add to that? I've been in some areas where there's been a lot of concentration like this, where when you go down the street, there's always a warning that there's pedestrians crossing the road, and usually the crosswalks are much larger. There's a lot of different things they can do. I don't know if that's possible.
We can certainly reach out to County DOT and ask them to take a look at this area in particular and look at the pedestrian crossings and also signage as well. We can do that for sure.
Thank you.
Are the 4-foot bollards, are they taller than the transformer? Is 4 foot the lowest that we can go on those bollards safely?
Yeah, 4 feet's the requirement. The RG&E is the lowest requirement we can do. And they won't be taller than the transformer. They'll be below the transformer.
I mean, I think that a lot of members on the board were just as shocked as the neighbors were to see the AC units go out front. But I think that this screening and planting goes a long way to try to cover that.
Ameliorate that.
I think that with it being all under 3 foot, we're okay in terms of visibility there. The only thing that I do have concern about the visibility is that transformer, but it really seems like it's something that's
Is out
above
of our,
all
out
of
our
us.
control
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
For all the landscaping experts on the board, all the shrubs they're putting in there, are any of those gonna grow taller than 3 foot, or?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them will.
Yeah,
And,
well, I mean,
and I'd like to recommend that when it's done and when you're caring for the landscaping, that anything that interferes and grows into the line of sight coming out on the culvert should be addressed in a regular manner by you folks and or replaced with younger plants at a time when it becomes.
I think that's appropriate. I mean, we've tried to select plants that don't get too big, that are within that 3-foot range.
Well,
but-
I'm not talking
But they
big,
still need
because
to be, they
it's
still
not
need
gonna
to be
big here.
trimmed
It's-
and.
If they
and-
just grow out in girth.
True,
It's-
right,
it's
they,
going to-
they spread out. I mean, this stuff still needs to be maintained and trimmed and taken care of, on a yearly basis.
Better we tell you to do it than you do
And
not.
not, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a comment about the request to have the additional covering removed from the maintenance door. So when we first looked at this application, we knew that this project was going to be a substantial change up there, especially in terms of the height of the building, the massing of the building, and how close this building was going to be to the street. So I know that we, as we always do, consider things in accordance to the master plan. And action step 85 of the master plan is to encourage development of buildings with visible pedestrian entrances and facades that are active and engaging to the street. So considering the height, the setback, and the massing of this building, that was where that idea to add an additional faux entrance to the building came from. So I do understand that the applicant is adding this landscaping to the front, which will help to make an active facade for the building. However, I feel that the primary use of that landscaping is to disguise the air conditioning units, and it will not do as much for to break up the size and scale of the building. So I think that we should continue to require the covering on that mechanical door. The idea at that point was to have an additional sort of porch like is on the north end of the building, because we have at least 160 linear feet of building along Culver Road with only one entrance. And master plan is asking that there's a visible entrance from the street. And with that length of building, another porch that is not accessible from the street, like I think when I look back at the tape, we called it Hollywood. It was just supposed to be there to break up the massing of the building, so that to visually break up the mass of this building. So I think that conditions should stay. It should have been put in when they built the building the first time, and so I would argue against removing that condition.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add my voice to that also. I mean, that was a mitigation effort, a condition that was added to the approval process. The applicant knows that it was missed on the planning and completion of construction. And this, the project actually does face away from the road. It doesn't face Culver Road, so the main part that our community is seeing would be a wall. I'm not so sure that relief is something that I would be comfortable extending tonight.
I agree.
Does the rest of the board feel?
I'm in support of that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that condition, staying.
So I think it's the original condition, so, I guess I'm gonna ask procedure-wise, we brought this up at the workshop, they addressed it, they came back, even though it's not part of the motion, how do we address that?
So you can either entertain it as two separate motions, or someone could put a motion on the table, and if there's a second and a vote, you could proceed that way.
Well, we already voted on it, so I guess.
The condition is from the original approval.
It's the
Rob.
original.
Yeah, I'm talking about lifting the condition. Someone could put a motion on the table
Okay.
saying, approve the landscaping plan as proposed,
Yeah, vote it
and
down.
remove the condition, and there's a second, and there's a vote, and if it carries, fine.
Right.
Or the board could entertain a motion to approve or deny the landscaping plan as presented, and then entertain an independent motion regarding the condition.
And, excuse me, can I interrupt with a procedural question? If the board is inclined to You know what, I'm gonna let you.
I think you were probably asking the same question I was gonna ask.
Well, no, I was gonna say that if you're inclined not to do anything with the condition, then you don't have to do anything, you just leave it alone.
Yep.
So you would, if the plan is to, if you don't wanna do anything with the condition, you don't wanna revisit it, and you wanna let it stand, then there's no action needed, you just act on the landscaping plan on its own.
That's what I was wondering. So since this was part of the original condition,
Yeah,
we
so
don't have
nothing
to just
changes.
reconfirm.
Yeah, you don't have to reconfirm, so if there's no further action related to that original condition that needs to be entertained, then you would just take action on the landscape plan. And then if you did want to make action or make a change to that original condition, that would be your opportunity to amend the motion
So
to
I don't think
include
we wanna
that.
change anything. We want it as originally proposed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should leave it as originally proposed. The only thing is from reading the applicant's letter, it seemed as though there was some confusion about what the purpose of this covering was or what it was for, so I want to make sure that we're clear, because the condition said to cover the maintenance store, which
Right.
could be
Means
interpreted.
a roof of some sort.
Right, I think the original idea was that you had originally added this porch to the north end. We liked that porch, but that was so long, right? But we had a discussion about how we didn't actually want people coming in and out of the maintenance store,
There won't be
right?
a sidewalk there.
So, if that porch, a similar treatment, but instead of having the gable face the street, it was it comes down like this, so it looks like a side porch on a house where maybe it was be off somebody's dining room or something. It's not a front porch, it's a side porch, but it still sort of creates an idea of connectivity between this large building and the street that is there. Something similar, but didn't necessarily invite the public up there.
Yeah,
Something along those lines. That was what the intent was.
There wouldn't be a sidewalk.
Correct, yep,
Right.
and we had talked about that, yeah.
Yeah,
It
we
was
knew that.
just to break up the visual massing of the building.
You want to talk about the gazebo?
So I believe what I'm hearing is we
Well-
want it to stand as it originally was.
My preference, Bernie, would be that the board express its desire with respect to the revised landscape plan, and also express its desire, positive or negative, with respect to the request on the table regarding removing the
We can do
condition.
that.
Just so we have in the record clearly that the request was made and that there's a reaction to it by the board.
As one motion or two?
Well, that's what I was trying to get at, 'cause
That's your prerogative, whatever you prefer.
It'd probably be cleaner as two.
yeah, 'cause one is gonna probably
Especially
pass and
if the
second one's
board's
not.
split, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I think that if we just made a motion out there, either to accept or reject, whatever the phrasing would be, the request for relief on the side porch, and have a vote on that,
Yeah, I
and then
think-
go on to the
that's fine.
next thing.
Okay.
I do have a question, though, Tom, about the gazebo. It looks like it's about 21 feet from the building and then 25 feet from the sidewalk. Are you gonna split the baby on that, or is it just okay where it's at?
No, I think we can slide it over a little bit more. We can make it central between the sidewalk and the building.
I think without it having electricity or lights, it's also gonna
It's gonna be-
provide them
It's
with,
gonna be, it's mostly a daytime
because
use.
I think it's going to add to the, landscape and to the scenery of the project. And it's abutting your own property.
That's correct. Yeah, that's another, those are the townhome units just.
Right.
along here.
Mr. Chair, would you entertain a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, was there anything else the applicant wanted to speak on?
No.
Okay, but please have a seat.
Very, very quick procedural thing. We don't need to condition the location of the gazebo, right?
Another procedural thing, we don't need to do a seeker. So you would like
Type
to
2.
explain that?
I can. So the proposed revised landscape plan that's being submitted doesn't provide any significant alterations or modifications that would change the original determination of significance issued with the original site plan. So that determination of significance that was as part of the environmental review that was conducted when this project first came forward would continue to stand. If they came with a plan and the revised landscape plan was going to be so different and so unique that it was going to change some factor that had been explored as part of the original approval and seeker determination, then we would be revisiting seeker for that piece of the puzzle. That does not apply in this case, and if anything, the change is actually improving the screening and the finished look of the building.
Okay. Would you like to
And
make a motion?
that doesn't need to be conditioned, correct? I'm looking at, okay, awesome. So in regards to, case PB 1904-1, revised site plan approval for 4225 and 4250 Culver Road, I suggest we approve as submitted.
Could I just ask one condition? I heard something about placement of the gazebo. Did you want to add anything regarding that?
That was the
No, I think that
question I
they've
just did.
agreed to
Yeah.
move it. I don't,
Okay.
And the motion on the table, when you say as submitted, does that include the request to delete?
No, that is just the landscape plan. 'Cause I believe we're
And
gonna do
does
that.
not include the request, just to be clear, the
That does not
request
include-
to lift the
That
condition
does not
regarding.
include the request to lift the condition.
Okay.
That'll be submitted as the
Finding.
second motion.
then we would also, request that staff, do a visual with the DOT on the, is that what you wanted? On the,
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a condition, it's just more of a comment
We'll
for
keep that
staff
separate, that's just a follow-up staff action.
yep.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have one absent. Any abstains? Okay, it passes.
Then I'll make another motion regarding this case on
Hold on one second. Go ahead.
PB 1904-1 on 4225 and 4250 Culver Road, that we reject the request for relief regarding the covering on the 4250 part of the project as originally conditioned.
So reject the request for the.
As outlined in an April 12th, 2019 letter to the board from Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Yeah, you
Want
need
a second?
need a second.
Oh, second, please.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One absent, no abstain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Please call the next action.
Next item on the agenda is a town board referral. Upon the matter of request by Costech Engineering, acting as agent for Guggenheim Development Services LLC for a special use permit to construct a plus or minus 3,134 square foot Jiffy Lube oil change service station with site-related improvements on premises 1268 East Ridge Road and a portion of tax ID 091.08-2-51.1 in a C business district.
And Chairman, if you'd like me to give you an overview of what this project entails.
Yes, please, thank you.
At this month's meeting, the town board accepted an application associated with the special use permit needed for this particular use on East Ridge Road. It is to construct the new oil change service station. So that is a use that's characterized as a public garage by definition in our code. So the item is before you for the comment on the use that's being contemplated at the town board level. They will be making application, and you will see this next month for site plan review. And then will also be going to the zoning board for I believe one area variance associated with the location of the building. This, just to give you sort of your lay of the land, the current driveway entrance into the Wellnow Aspen Dental facility would be shared with this new proposed development site. And if, as a point of reference or memory, when the Wellnow Aspen Dental came before us originally with another outparcel development, that's the same location, different user and finished product. So this is really commenting on the use at this location.
Can you explain that open garage thing again? I'm sorry.
So it's the public garage. In our code, public garage means any sort of service station garage that does repairs and auto repair. So they don't. It might, in other codes or in other places, it might be referred to as a repair shop or a automobile repair service center station. And so that is our terminology is public garage, and that just means where retail garage or repairs are conducted. So things like a Jiffy Lube, tire change places, an auto repair mechanic kind of place, all those are categorized in our code as a public garage, and that's a use that requires a special use from the town board.
Any place on Ridge Road?
Any place in a C business district, and I believe also the M manufacturing would also require the special use permit for that type of use.
Okay.
And as far as seeker goes, is this going to be a joint review, or who is going to be?
You know what?
lead on that?
So for this one, each board will likely just render their own seeker determination of significance.
Okay.
It's one of these more common types of development. To be honest with you, the special use permit for a public garage, like for an auto repair place on East Ridge Road, but
Carrie, this is located where the print shop and the house is, right next to
no. So this is the print shop was actually torn down as part of. So the Quick Print location was torn down as part of the Aspen Dental. There's an existing house at 1268 that would be torn down, and actually a portion of the property that currently Aspen Dental Wellnow owns would be transferred to this. The line would be shifted over a little bit so that all of the parking associated with this new development for the Jiffy Lube would be on one lot, and the parking that's required and needed for the Wellnow Aspen Dental would be on its own lot. So, and they'll have some shared access agreements and shared parking as needed as part of that effort.
Same as they were gonna do for the restaurant that was.
Correct. So the line's gonna, so the line where it sits right now was done for site plan review of Aspen Wellnow, and they always intended it was gonna shift at some point, and it will shift a little bit. There'll be a transfer of property, I believe. And then you'll see that, I mean, so right now before you, you're just contemplating the use and providing any comment or feedback to the town board for their consideration as they're navigating the special use permit. When the time comes for the physical layout and design, you'll see that next month for site plan review.
And I'm not sure this matters, but is this the same company that's operating the other one on Ridge Road?
I don't know that it is. I think this is a new owner, and I think this is one of several locations in a larger Western New York region.
Is the other one closed, or is it up by Hudson?
I think is that a Valvoline though, or is it a Jiffy Lube?
It's not a Jiffy Lube.
It's a Valvoline. Oh, is it? It's a Valvoline. Okay, so
I thought there was another one on Ridge Road.
yeah, so
There wasn't, I thought there was.
I think there was. It was at the corner of Portland, and now it's a Dunkin' Donuts, I think.
that may be the case. It might have been the former site of.
Correct. Yes, you are. Okay.
Carrie, do you know what the area variance is that they are going to need by any chance?
I believe it's a front setback, so they're just shy of where the building is being placed. And they're doing that to allow for enough queuing in the back, because the way these buildings typically operate is drivers will enter in, and then they queue at the bays behind the building so that they can drive into the building, receive the service, and then drive out. And you'll notice that there is a sort of one-way loop through well, you won't notice, but there's a one-way loop. So you enter one way, queue, park, be serviced, and then you come back out. And there will be cross-access through both entrances, so the one on Eastridge Road, and there'll be access easements across, so they can drivers can also access the exit onto Portland, to the backside of the Aspen Mall now.
I don't have any other questions, Mr. Chair. Do you need a motion?
I'd just see if anybody's got any questions or comments.
I think there's some obvious site plan issues, but obviously that's not what
Right,
we're talking
that's
about.
not what
So
we're
from a use,
for tonight.
I don't have any comment or issue with the use.
We're gonna see this again before it's built.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where they put the oil in that business, we can address later.
And we
So,
will.
would somebody like to make a motion?
Sure. On the referral from the town board regarding Costage Engineering for 1268 East Ridge Road, that we go ahead and do that we have a positive recommendation to the board regarding the special use permit.
Do we have a second?
Second. Jackie beat me.
I already wrote it down. Any other comments you want to share with the board regarding that? I didn't have any. No. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any nay? Any abstain? One absent. Thank you. Yep. It's a positive referral.
Mike's got changes.
Mike, make your change
And make the motion.
Oh,
and make your motion.
well, if Mr. Chair is ready,
You approve the minutes with the following.
Go ahead.
yes, I made some changes to the minutes prior to the meeting. Three of them, in fact. Do I have to actually list them out?
Yes.
I
to know
do?
what they
Oh.
You can make a motion, though, with
Okay,
these
I would like to
changes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 25th, 2019 with the following amendments. The fourth bullet point under Ann Burns's testimony from case 1903-1. There should be a capital W. Next to Mr. Eberhardt's name, 4500 Culver Road, there shouldn't be a space before the comma. And on the back page, the approval of the minutes, there was not an @ symbol that abstained. It would be 2. Nope, 0. Nope, what would that be? That'd be 2. 2. What's the @ symbol on a keyboard? I used to have one in front of me and I don't anymore. Okay.
I would second that motion.
Aye.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstain? And one absent.
Can I give you a motion to close, Mr. Chair?
Meeting's closed.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Planning Board on ICAT, Government Access. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Planning Board on ICAT Government Access.